The following production is brought to you by the Talkin' Buds Leaf Show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Talkin' Buds podcast special presentation. We are going all in on the Talkin' Buds Blue Jays show today. I couldn't imagine coming on here the day after and talking about anything else. There's nothing else really that everyone's heart is broken across the city. We've done a lot of episodes in the last few years where we've run through a gamut of different emotions, but this is a first for us. And I've said on numerous occasions, like, yes, we've built our channel and our brand on covering the Leafs, and the Leafs are our team. But for Ryan and I personally, the Jays are 1A in that equation. It's the Leafs and the Jays for both of us. And so we're just gonna set the Leafs aside for today, and we're gonna sit here and we're gonna work through our emotions off what was just a devastating Game 7 defeat to the LA Dodgers. Let's just jump in and just talk about how we're feeling right now and our emotions. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Yeah.
I hate this. I hate it because it just changes your life for the next 2 weeks. It's just now, today, if they would have pulled it off, I would have gotten up, I would have put on some Sportsnet for a little while, relived it a bunch. I would have put on CP24 to get the general reaction of the city and just living it up. And now it's just, I can't listen to the fan. I can't listen to any sort of Toronto media for the next 2 weeks. I can't. I'm boycotting it. Even today, usually I get up, I do a little scroll on Instagram, just to kind of keep up with what's going on. I couldn't even do that this morning. So it's just, I hate it because now it's just completely changed the way I'm going to live my life for the next 2 weeks. I'm not saying it's all about me. It's just it sucks. It sucks. You want to wake up the next morning and relive one of the greatest moments of your sporting watching life. And instead it's just, now I have to avoid it. I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I've been running this weird sort of gamut. When the game ended, when Rojas hit the home run to tie the game, it was like everything inside me kind of shut down, and the version of me that you'd seen previously where I was up and yelling at the TV and screaming and pumping and fist bumping when Bo hit the home run, and that guy just went away. And I just sat on the couch in complete stillness, complete silence, just in shock. And that carried over to the end of the game. And then obviously, the game ends and you're talking with people, you're texting, and people, I'm gutted, I'm devastated, and I'm just I'm in a fog.
Yeah.
I'm in disbelief at what I just watched. And waking up this morning, because I didn't watch anything. I closed my phone and went to bed because it was too much. Getting up this morning and seeing all the reaction videos from the Dodgers, the image of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. sitting in the dugout with tears in his eyes, I get emotional looking at that, because as a fan, I'm only going to go down this road once in this whole episode, and then we won't do this again. But it needs to be said, at least from my perspective, because it's how I feel. We've watched a lot of disappointing efforts in the last decade in the playoffs. We've watched a lot of big games where you sat down in front of your TV and said, tonight's the night where a star player goes legend and establishes himself and picks this team up and carries them to the next level that they've been desperately trying to get to for the last decade. And it never happens. And that was not the case at all this year. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., I've been calling him the captain to a bunch of people in various different group chats, because that's what he was. He was this team's captain, and he led the entire way right up until the last inning, where he gets on base and looks at the dugout and fist pumps, and he's like, come on, we're still in this. And to just see that guy so gutted, my heart is broken for him. And you will look back on this run, even though it is so upsetting and disappointing that they didn't get it done. You will look back on this run and look at that guy's performance and be like, that dude was a superstar through and through. And he did what we as a fan base have been dying for these guys to do, which is not be afraid of the moment, embrace it, and perform your best. Run into the moment, don't run away from it. And my heart is broken for Vladdy. It's broken.
Yeah, my heart's broken for all of them because it's in those other efforts you're referencing. There was kind of like a deserve a win-o-meter, like in some of those, and like after that World Series, you're like they were the better team, man. They got
Caleb
robbed.
Caleb Joseph is taking heat this morning online for saying the better team lost. I'm sorry, he's right. He's right. They outplayed the Dodgers. Just they got their bats were ice cold through pretty much all 7 games of the series. They were hitting like 200 or something collectively through the whole series, and then just when they needed them to step up, they stepped up.
And when the Jays needed the thing that if you really want to get into the game, like. To me, the thing that's sad for them is they played their brand of baseball all year. And that was just kind of like doing what you had to do to get runners over, getting a run in no matter what. And in that 9th inning in Game 6 and that 9th inning last night, they had a perfect opportunity to just hit a sac fly or do what they had to do to get a runner in, and they couldn't do it. And that's kind of what they did all year. And they couldn't do it in the biggest moment, and it's what kind of let them down in the end. I mean, it's sad.
It is sad. How many runners left on base as well?
Yeah, like they had tons of opportunities. Like they had the bases loaded with 1 out last night. I know Jeff Hoffman gave up that home run, and he's wearing it, and I appreciate the accountability he's taking. But I mean, when you have the bases loaded with 1 out, and Dalton Varr shows up, and all you gotta do is hit a deep fly ball, like, and you can't do it. And I thought IKF was safe when I was watching. I started jumping around, and then it was like, no, he's out. And they did leave a lot of guys on. They did have opportunities to run away with that game, and they didn't do it. So I mean, they gotta kind of take some accountability there. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's hard to sit here and start ranting and raving about one specific player or one specific play or whatever. It's just kind of just the way that the hand they were dealt. I mean, it's tough.
And the Dodgers just trotted out every single one of their starting pitchers you saw in that game.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was crazy, dude. It was crazy. And then Will Smith gets the game-winning home run.
Yeah, they hit 3 straight solo shots to get back into that game. And Muncy hit one, and then Rojas hit one, and then Will Smith hit one, and
yeah, dude. It's just, hopping on here to kind of talk through it. But I also wanted to hop on here so people could see like the authentic, like raw emotion that we're feeling this morning. It's hot, like it's weird. It's like I'm not heartbroken for me as a fan because my team didn't win. Like, I'm sad, obviously. I'm heartbroken for this team. This is literally, again, I just have to keep coming back to this as point of reference, but like, we as a fan base have taken a lot of shrapnel for being hard on teams for the last few years. And like, that is not the case at all here. You couldn't be more. The 2025 Blue Jays, even though they didn't get it done, will live in immortality in this city. Like, people, like this journey, this October journey that we just went on with them was exhausting, but in the best way.
Yeah.
Like staying up late every single night to watch. You never know what's going to happen. They're never out of a game. Just when you think they're dead, they come back and show you they're not dead. And just, man, like, Bo hits that home run early, and you're like, okay, all they got to do is lock it down. But what do we see from them all year and in the playoffs? A 3-1 run lead was never going to be enough.
No.
Like when they won, it was when they had a big inning where they would put 5, 6, 7 runs on the board and put it out of reach for their opponent, and they just weren't able to do that. And against this Dodger team, which is the talent on the Dodgers is so frustrating because collectively they weren't that great in this series. They weren't.
No.
But at the end of the day, their talent just delivered when it mattered.
Mm. Yeah, look back at that series and how Freeman performed and how Betts performed, and Muncy was terrible for the most part.
They just bring in
Ohtani
Miguel
wasn't that
Rojas
great.
and it kills them.
Yeah, Ohtani wasn't that great.
No.
Yeah, they're going to look back on this and it's going to be a missed opportunity. Like, it really is. Like, if you laid out all those numbers that those guys would have in that series before it started, you'd be like, well, this is free. Like, this is a World Series, and it just slipped away. That's the worst part. To me, that is the worst part. It's just the fact that this team will live in immortality. We talked about the 15, 16 teams. They didn't even get close to this.
Yeah.
But it just sucks how there's always just going to be at the end of the sentence, like, but they couldn't get it done.
Yeah.
Like, what a team that was, but just came up short in the end. That's what, to me, that's the ultimate worst thing about this. And I hate how I have to hear about that for the rest of my life. I hate it.
And it sucks because, like, it was in their hand, dude. It was in their hand.
2 outs away.
In their hand. They were 2 outs away.
The bases loaded with
there.
1 out.
Yeah.
Like, they had a guy on second and third
there.
with no out. And they just, what they did all year, they just couldn't do. They couldn't get that runner in. It's just like, fuck, man.
And I start having these like existential questions about like, well, would you have just preferred this kind of went like Game 7 against the Panthers last year in the second round, where right from the hop it was like, this is over, or it goes all the way to the end? And honestly, the most epic baseball game you will ever see. And that's another thing about this too. What a fantastic World Series!
Yeah,
man.
holy crap!
Like these two teams went toe to toe. This loss is the definition of it just didn't go your way, and there's nothing more they could have done. They laid it all on the line, and I think I would still go with the emotion that we're feeling this morning, even though it is gutting and heartbreaking and awful. You're not walking out of it going like, wow, they really shit the bed there. It's like,
no. Yeah,
the Dodgers just ripped it out of their hand in the last minute.
Yeah, it's sickening. I hate it.
It is sickening. It is sickening,
man.
I hate it.
Sickening. I can't stand it. It's just that team just, other than Yamamoto, who is just like, oh my, what can you say about that guy? Like, holy crap. Other than that, you're watching that team. I watched the celebration for like 5 minutes, and it's just like, oh my, it's terrible. I hate it. Yeah. I hate it so much. I hate it. And then you got to come back and do that. Was like, it is an absolute grind to get to where they got to yesterday. And it's just like, now you got to do it all over again.
And I think as a fan, that's the pain you feel. It's like at the end of the day, like we don't play the games. It's not like I feel empathy and sadness and awful for the players. But like as a fan, it's like the last time they were in the World Series, I was 5 years old. Like I was saying to my wife last night, we're sitting having dinner before the game starts, and I'm looking at my 1 and at my 16-month-old son, and I'm like, he could be 20 by the time they get back there. Like he really could.
Yeah, I know. That's what runs through your head. It's like, I hope they can keep some sort of run going, but yeah, then you got to come back and do it all over again. You got to beat the Yankees all over again. You got to get to the playoffs all over again. Like it's terrible.
And the ingredients that they had this year with certain guys, like Ernie Clement breaks the record for most hits in a postseason.
That's another thing that sucks too, is like they had all-time postseasons from a couple of guys.
Yeah.
There were a couple of guys who did struggle in the World Series. Like there's a couple guys. Nathan Lucas.
Dalton Varsho.
Varsho had the home run in the first game, but then he was lost.
Yeah.
IKF. There was a couple dudes who didn't really have the best World Series. But yeah, it's just like, can they replicate that again with a bunch of dudes who probably had the best years of their careers? And
that's the thing that you feel like really like bummed about is, if I had told you in May that by July, August, September, Ernie Clement would be an everyday player in this lineup, you would have said, well, that's not good. That's not good news if that's the case. Same thing with a Nathan Lucas. And not only were they everyday players, they were massive contributors. And like I said, it's incredible that Ernie Clement, a guy that the Oakland A's and Cleveland Guardians both said no thanks to, goes into the playoffs and breaks the all-time hit record in a single postseason.
Yeah.
Like that's part of the magic where you're just like, there's no way they're not going to win when they're getting a performance like that from Ernie Clement.
Mm-hmm.
Bo Bichette, after game 6, we're sitting there, we're going, he hasn't had his moment. And then he hits an epic home run off Shohei Ohtani. Just the most swag you've ever seen when he drops the bat and runs the bases. Awesome. And you're like, this is it. This is the moment. And we'll talk about game 7 of the World Series as Bo. George Springer just battling through multiple injuries. Every time he's up there, he's getting a hit. He's getting on base. He's playing his heart out. That's another thing, too. Another magical thing about this season. Going into this year, everyone was like, George Springer's washed. His best days are behind him. And he was literally their best player from the hop this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's just like you're probably not going to get that performance again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
doesn't really feel like, that's the tough part. It doesn't really feel like the Dodgers would have lost this World Series and been like, we'll be back here next year.
Yes.
With this team, there's just a lot more question marks. Like, I don't think this is like the beginning of a dynasty or anything. Like, I think they just had an unbelievable year and had unbelievable years from a lot of dudes and who just played way above their level. So it's just
Max Scherzer turns back the clock, has an effect. Max Scherzer was a disaster in September and turns back the clock, comes out and has 3 amazing starts in the postseason after not being on the roster for the ALDS. Chris Bassett, all-time team guy, just goes into the bullpen and is incredible for you throughout this whole run. Shane Bieber, I know he gave up the home run to Will Smith, but another guy who that start that he had in game 4 was massive for them. It's just, that's the part that kills you is there were, certain guys struggled, like Varsho struggled at the plate. Last night, he makes that unbelievable catch.
Yeah.
Nathan Lucas, struggled at the plate in the World Series. That guy, everyone knows that guy's story about riding the buses in the minors and he was going to quit, but then he's like, no, I'm going to play one more year. And he was huge for them in the DS and CS. And just, that's what pains you, man. That's what guts you so much.
Kills you. Yeah.
Yeah. The videos in the clubhouse after guys crying, and it's just like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gutting, man. This
really is as raw of emotion of a pod as you and I have ever done. Like, we're not even on here really having a conversation. We're just on here lamenting and feeling sad.
Well, it's just hard to come on here and be like, well, if they would have done this and they would have done that. Like, it's just it's too far past that now where it's just like you're criticizing decisions. It just didn't go their way. It just really didn't.
That's why I was like, we're not going to come on here today and like go through the game. Like, it was an incredible baseball game, but like, we don't need to talk about what happened in the top of the 6th. Like, yeah,
I know.
It's just, we don't need to talk about that. No one wants to hear that. Everyone just wants to sit and feel sad. And we're here. We are all of you right now, just sitting here feeling despondent and heartbroken over it.
Yeah. Yeah. What could have been?
What can you do, buddy? What can you do? Let's just, before we get out of here, let's just reminisce on just the season as a whole, just an unforgettable year, a year that started with them looking like it was going to be a continuation from last year. And then at some point, would you say that was like mid-June around Canada Day where they really turned the corner and just exploded and had the most epic July that put them in the lead in the AL East, and they basically stayed there for the rest of the year and end up winning the division. They get the bye. They go in against the Yankees, which is like we were all like, oh my God, they're playing the Yankees in the ALDS. This is massive. And they kicked their ass. They made short work of the Yankees. The Seattle series looked bleak there after the first 2 games, and then to battle back and win that, George Springer hits the home run in game 7. And then this, like, I think after game 3, the 18-inning game of the World Series, where a lot of other teams would have just folded and been like, we lost. That was it. And they battle back and have two really decisive wins in game 4 and 5. And then game 6 could literally comes down to a 1 in a million ball wedged under the fence. And then Barger being aggressive and trying to score and getting gunned out at second. And then we've spent this whole episode talking about game 7. Just an incredible ride that if you are someone who doesn't watch sports and doesn't consume it, I feel bad for you because you are missing out on, even though we're all up this morning and we're all sad and we're all heartbroken, you are missing out on, like I said, this last month, we're exhausted. We're all exhausted. We're all short on sleep. We're all emotionally exhausted. I do it all over again tomorrow. If you told me tomorrow we're starting again and we're going to go again, let's go.
Yeah, of course.
Ryan, hockey is back, and this season, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, brings you all the speed, skill, and nonstop action you love.
The DraftKings Sportsbook delivers the unmatched intensity of the NHL right to your fingertips. From player props to the thrill of live in-game betting, every drop of the puck is your shot to win big. New customers, this one's for you. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get paid out $300 in bonus bets instantly.
I tell you all the time, I use the DraftKings Sportsbook pretty much every day. I use it to bet NHL on the puck line. Sometimes I just bet money line winners and losers. Cannot recommend using their app enough.
Light the lamp all season long with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. Pass-through of per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright NHL 2025. All rights reserved. Okay, before we get out of here, we should mention the Leafs quickly we are a Leaf podcast first. After all, they get a nice win on Saturday night in Philadelphia against the Flyers. Easton Cowan gets his first goal. You mentioned before we jumped on the air that Nick Robertson is now the superstar of the team.
That was a hell of a goal he scored, man.
Ooh. Yes, it was. It was.
There's not a lot of guys on that team who could score that goal. Ooh.
I was so happy for Easton Cowan. That kid's face was, you couldn't remove the smile from that kid's face when he got that goal. And listen, Matthews had a good game. He scored a nice goal, so this isn't intended to take a shot at Matthews, but Easton Cowan's out there with John Tavares, and what's John Tavares do? He's elevating him, puts him in a position, scores a goal.
Hey, ever since Nick Robertson got on Austin Matthews' line, he's getting points.
It's true. One thing we absolutely should talk about is the scary Chris Tanev situation. It's his first game back, and it didn't look, if you watch the replay, it does not look like any sort of like hard contact or anything, but it's like Michkov skates into his back, and you can see his neck kind of go, and then he turns and falls to the ice, and he didn't move until they rolled him over and put him on the stretcher. And for a defense corps that has struggled to start the season, this is not good news.
No, this is their best defenseman.
Yes, and he just came back from a concussion. Again, I haven't seen anything this morning that is saying what it is. Apparently, he went to a hospital in Philadelphia for tests, but you got to think, based on the way his neck kind of moved, that's scary stuff, man, when you're dealing with brain injuries like that.
Yeah, and there's also a guy who's just taken like an unbelievable amount of punishment in his career too. So it's just like, the body keeps the score of how many hits and how many block shots and all that stuff. And it might not look bad, but maybe it was just an accumulation of how hard that guy plays and how much contact he gets during a game, he takes a lot of hits. So maybe it was just kind of, I don't know. He was held together by duct tape, and just one little movement kind of just sent him over. Yeah, I hope he's okay. That's not good for them, but
No.
it's not really not good for them. But yeah, hope he's okay.
Well, with this being the ending of the Jays season, our little Blue Jays segments every episode will officially be coming to an end, and we're all in on the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the rest of the city will be all in on the Toronto Maple Leafs. So listen, they're the November GOATs, and they started November with what I thought was their best win of the season against Philly. That was the best they've looked all year offensively in terms of just generating offense and chances. The Matthews goal was exactly what you're looking for from him, and what we haven't seen a lot of in the last 2 seasons. So it's something to build off of, and hopefully they can do what they do every year in November, which is just kind of put it in gear here and get some more W's on that record.
Yeah.
This week coming up, they've got the Pittsburgh Penguins, the juggernaut Kyle Dubas Pittsburgh Penguins on Monday, and then they've got the Utah Mammoth at home on Wednesday. We'll probably be back on Thursday after those 2 games, and then next weekend we won't have a Sunday episode because they play the Carolina Hurricanes on Sunday night. Next weekend is the Leafs and Bruins on Saturday, and then the Leafs and Hurricanes on Sunday. So like I said, we'll probably be back on Thursday to talk about the Penguins and Utah Mammoth games. If you'd like to join us for that, hit the like and subscribe button below. I want to thank everybody for taking the time today to watch this video with us and letting Ryan and I just sort of pour out our emotions and feelings over just a gut-wrenching playoff defeat for the Toronto Blue Jays. And it wasn't a lot of in-depth analytical conversation today. It was just 20 minutes of us sitting here pouring our hearts out. So if you sat here with us and watched it, thank you very much. We really, really appreciate it. If you're listening to the audio version, like, subscribe, review. It really helps us out.
Spread the word. Tell your friends.
We'll see you guys later this week.